Hello, Mike Bradley. Hope you are doing well as always. Christmas is knocking on the door. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this in June, enjoy the sun. But I've got my Christmas t-shirt on. It actually says Spruce Springsteen. Aye? See what it did there? See what it did there? So I love Christmas, though all of a sudden it has just sprung up this year, which is crazy. And but I'm putting the tree up today. We bought the tree the other day. Me and the lady, we've both been very, very busy. But yeah, we'll be putting up today. But the thing with Christmas songs, especially the old, you know, the classic Let It Snow to White Christmas to Holly Jolly Christmas, all those great old Christmas songs, is they're really jazz songs. And I've spoken a bit about this before, but if you're a new viewer, you know, this, you might find this interesting. I'll put a card or whatnot if you want to check out some other stuff I've talked about Christmas licks and chords and stuff. But they are jazz songs, you know, and, you know, the pop songs of the 40s, for example, was jazz music. And, you know, they knew their stuff. It's not just, you know, a 145, you know, a CFG going on like today's music, shall we say. And the kind of Christmas chords, if we can call them that, for me are your kind of diminished chords, your diminished 7th and minor 7 flat 5 chords, and your dominant chords. And I thought today I will show you a few little things where you can really get that Christmas joy. It's like a nice bit of brandy going down. It's just, and you can smell all that, the lovely Christmas smells, you know, when you play these chords. I should say, big thing is that, you know, with the diminished chords and stuff like this before, a little plug, do check out a video on my website, and videos, just make it a plural. I've got a few lesson packs on there, well, a couple of lesson packs on there, and individual lessons. And I've got one talking about the diminished chord, or chords again, because you've got your diminished chord, you've got diminished 7th, you've got minor 7 flat 5. So do check that out, because I'll go in a lot more in depth than what I'll be doing in this video. So do check that out. And also as well, if you don't, check out and follow me on Instagram. And also I should say, I'm going to start pushing more. If you're into Spotify, make sure you add my artist page and my music onto your playlists and stuff. Just put Mike Bradley in the Spotify and you're going to find me. I've got 2 EPs out. The Devil's on My Side EP and This Is What I Have to Say EP, and hopefully next year I'll have another new EP coming out. So do check me out on Spotify as well, and check out my website mikebradleymusic.com for the in-depth diminished chord lesson amongst many other lessons which are on there. So let's look at a song, say like Let It Snow, which is a great song, all right? And now one thing as well, a lot of these are in kind of C sharp and A flat and stuff like that, you know, kind of real keys, because a lot of times these guys are playing with string players and horn players especially, and horn players do not like E. They like E flat. And that's why B.B. King, for example, he's in B flat a lot, he's in E flat or C minor a lot and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll notice that a lot. So with Let It Snow, you got, it's in the key of C sharp. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Now, what was going on there? I've got, you can do a C major or C major 7. Sorry, C sharp major or C sharp major 7. And it's doing a little tonic and dominant. Now, this beautiful chord here is your C sharp diminished 7th. So we've got a D, a G sharp, or A flat, depends what way you look at it, B, and an F. Okay, so from the 5th string, 5, 6, 4, 6. Now, diminished 7th chords, and hello Matt, hello mate from my Patreon page. You asked me a very good question about diminished chords, which gave me the idea for this video actually. The way I like to use diminished 7th chords, and how not just I, millions of other amazing musicians, is as a kind of passing chord. So I'm going from the C sharp to the D, to in this case an E flat or D sharp minor 7. Okay, if I was in the key of C for a minute, just so you can harmonically understand it, you got C, C sharp, D. You know, our harmonised major scale, C major, D minor, E minor. So if I've got C major 7 to a C sharp diminished 7 to a D minor 7, it's a lovely little change there, right? So back to C sharp. Alright, it's a lovely change, alright? So it's movement, and that's what a lot of jazz guys do. They're creating movement and harmony with their playing. Instead of that happening, you got that, alright? So that's the best way of using a diminished 7th chord, as you're moving to the next chord in your key. So in this case, we've got C sharp to a D sharp, okay? Minor 7, minor chord, whatever you desire. And then he's got this thing, what we call a 2-5, you know, 2-5-1, which is used a hell of a lot in jazz, all over the place. Songs are just all 2-5-1s a lot of times. So we've got a D minor 7, D sharp minor 7, sorry. And then we're going to the next kind of important chord in a Christmas jazz song, the dominant chord. So here we've got a D sharp minor 7 going to a G sharp dominant 7. Now, dominant chords, you might have heard, you know, C7, C9, C13, C7 sharp 9, which would be like the Hendrix chord. But then you got C7 flat 13, and all these, they're all in the dominant chord family. They just got extra colours, extra condiments going on in there. So if I've got that happening, say I want to take this away, I could go do something like that. So there, which is an amazing chord. I call this, so what I'm going to do, just to make life easier for you, let's go back a fret, so we're back in the key of C. Here is our G7 chord, which hopefully you know very well. And then if I count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I put if you've got a G7 and put your little finger on, that's a G13 chord, used a lot in blues. Alright, but now if we flatten that 13, so then we kind of have that happening, which is really nice. So you can either do it like that, and as you notice, I just realised I'm not using a pick, I'm just using my fingers here. So I'm picking the 6th, 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings. So there, and then take my 3rd finger off, I'm back to the dominant 7, alright? So you could do, so have that kind of change happening. Which is really nice there. So there I did similar thing, I'm just back in C. Sorry if I'm flipping about between C sharp and C, it's just easier teaching in C because we've got no sharps or flats going on. So, well, harmonically we're not, because we're about to play a C sharp diminished, but there I had C major 7, C sharp diminished 7, D minor 7, G7, G13, G7 flat 13, G7, C major 7. Alright, so that's really nice. There was D minor 7, G13, G7 flat 13, C major 7. So that G7 flat 13, or you might sometimes see it written as G7 sharp 5, both make up the same thing, because the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a D, and there's my D, and I'm sharpening it. So you could look at it, some might call it a G7 sharp 5, or you could call it a G7 flat 13. I call it G7 flat 13. But you know, do whatever your brain or characters tell you, you know. Guitar players and musicians all have their own little ways, don't we? So in Let It Snow, let's go back to the key of C sharp. Alright, and then it's got that happening, alright? So D minor 7, and then we've got an A sharp 7, D minor 7, E diminished 7th again, so another passing, back to your G, put your little finger on, you can make it a little, 6th, and back to your C sharp again. Now, what's going on there, if I take this back into the key of C, we've got an A7, alright? Now in the key of C, there shouldn't be an A7, because the harmonised major scale for C, you've got C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C again. So there's an A minor there. There shouldn't be an A7. But why is this working now? Why does that sound cool? Why? Aren't you? Put your answers in the comment section below. So the reason that works, if you think about it, we're in the key of C, and then I'm playing this A7, which has got a C sharp in it. But for our ear, it sounds right. So what this is here is a big kind of thing, but this is a secondary dominant. And basically what that means is whatever chord you're going to, you can go to the fifth chord. The fifth chord in any key is the dominant chord. So in C, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth note is G. So we can play a G7, and it links really nicely back to the tonic, the 1. So as we've got a D minor 7 here, if I go up 5 in D, I've got an A, so I can do C major. So if I've got C major to D minor, I could put an A7 in front of that and it works. Now what I just did there, because my brain thought there, I could then do secondary dominant going into the G, 5 up from G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a D, so I could go C major 7, A7, D7, G7. And then I could change it, make it 9s, or let's see if I do, let's do the Hendrix chord on the D, so we could do C major 7, A7, Hendrix, get these. Now you're getting really jazzy. So we're getting really jazzy, and you can kind of start to see, oh, that's how they're doing it. So there I did C major 7, A7 flat 13 to an A7, D7 sharp 9, then G7 flat 13 to G7, you know, and then now we're like, hang on a minute, I'm a jazz boy now. Well, loosely speaking. There I did D7 sharp 9, D9, and then G7 flat 13, and you got all these little melody lines kind of going on, and the same note, like I could keep this D7 sharp 9 there, and keep that F note going, which is your dominant 7th note. So like I say, it's still from this dominant family, but it's just all these extra little colour tones to it. So like I say, we've got our diminished, and our dominant chords. Secondary dominant, diminished 7th, and dominant again. And so now, you know, I'm calling this kind of Christmas chords, but this is, you know, a jazz guitar lesson I'm doing right now, you know. And I do not call myself a jazz player in any way whatsoever, all right? No. But I do have ears, and you've got ears. And I'm from the school of, if it sounds good, it's good. And if it sounds S-H-I, you know, the rest of the word, it is. And so, you know, when you get all these... So there, I'm just going chromatically down, but I'm kind of making it work in the key of C there, you know. Because if you can make it sound good in your ears and follow where your ears are going, I think you're going to be all right with it. So regarding my approach to this kind of stuff, you know, it's like, well, you know, if I'm doing that D7 sharp 9 there, and then I can see it, no, that's a G7. I'm just keeping my little finger on the F there. I can just keep that kind of movement. Kind of, you know, you're only limited to your imagination, aren't you, really? So hopefully this is all making sense, you know. Like I say, this isn't beginner stuff. This is, you know, very much intermediate, knocking on advanced a little bit here. But if you can take some of this and then probably re-watch the video a few times, you know. But like I say, the main thing here is taking your diminished chords as passing, and then adding in those dominant chords. So the 5th chord in any key can be viewed as a dominant chord. And then we got these things called secondary dominants, where the chord you're going to the 5th chord of that. So if I'm going C to D minor, the 5th chord of D minor is A, and then the 5th can always be a dominant. So I can do C, A7, D minor, and then G7. G7 is the 5th of C, you know what I mean? So, and then you can start adding in secondary dominants after each other, you know. Not all jazz songs have secondary dominants, no, loads of songs, a lot of R&B. Bohemian Rhapsody, that's got secondary dominants going on there. But like I say, chords like this, to me, have that Christmassy vibe, you know. You know, and adding in those dominant chords like I did the Christmas song. F7. Oh, C flat 9, you know. All sorts of stuff. So anyway, hopefully you can take some of this and add some Christmas flair into your playing, and you know, write a little song. I did once. I'll put a card The Man I Want to Be. Wasn't really, it's kind of Christmassy. I'll put a link. I'm in front of a Christmas tree. It was about 5 years ago. Check it out. Anyway, hope you're good and well. Me and my very Christmassy Gibson 345 wish you a Merry Christmas. I will see you before Christmas though. But yeah, I think I was looking at my diary and I thought, oh my word, it's 2 weeks away, Christmas already. How has this happened? It's not like this when you're a kid. December seems like forever. And then when you become an adult, all of a sudden you blink and it's December, and then you blink and it's August, and then you blink it's December again. God, does that mean I'm actually old? Here's me last week talking about boomer bends, and I think I'm actually becoming an old man now. Anyway, guys, hope you're very good and well. Lots of love as always. Like I say, do check out my Instagram and Spotify. If you want to support me on Patreon, my website, mikebradleymusic.com. It really will help support the channel, and so I can keep pumping out cool stuff like this. Hopefully it's cool. And thank you all for your love and support. I've been Mike Bradley. This has been Alan McFly. This is my Spruce Springsteen t-shirt. Lots of love. Take care. Mike Bradley signing out. Bye. Faded away.